Chinese script. Okay. Jealousy and envy. Now, Chinese script is like art. So I consider this one of the art components of the class, right? Let me look at the word for crab. So these two words mean crab. I know this looks like, how could that mean crab, right? And these together, this is a full word for crab. We're not going to worry about the pronunciation. That will just make things more confusing, right? But these two words mean crab, and together they form the complete word for crab. Because some words in Chinese are like that. For example, in Chinese, the word for friend is two words that both mean friend, and together you have friend, friend, meaning friend. And in the same way, you have crab, crab, being the word for crab. I want you to notice two things. You have this here, and this is the same thing here, but it's slightly stretched, right? But it's the same element. So let's see what these two things are broken down into. This means, so this is the first one, this means that it's something insect-like. It can mean that it's a worm or an insect or a snake. And this here represents side. So to me, this only makes sense if you know that a crab is a creature that walks sideways. And let's look at the other word. This portion up here is untie. And then you got the same thing, a small creature. A crab is a small creature you can untie. So before we had markets in Trinidad with the crab and barrel, they already had their markets with the crab and barrel, and they saw how crabs behave. So I think everybody here is from Trinidad, so we know exactly what that means. Has anybody ever seen crab in bucket or barrel or whatever before?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you don't have to tie them. They'll stay right there. They'll do your job for you and keep each other in the barrel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, moving on to words that have to do with envy.
So wait, one thing before you go. So if you only put one of those characters, it's not crab.
Yeah, no,
You
it's not.
have to have
It's
both
not.
characters to be
Yeah,
crab.
exactly. So like this could be a word by itself, and then it would mean insect.
Oh.
And you could have, usually it would be insect. And if you have this word by itself, it would be untie. But when you put them together, it's a crab. So what they do is they recycle the same elements
Right.
so that you can recognize them in different words. So even if you've never seen a Chinese word before, but you recognize the elements, you might be able to guess what the meaning is.
Sounds pretty complicated.
You think it's too complicated? Now, once you get used to it, believe you me, it doesn't seem that complicated.
Right.
And they don't have an alphabet. That's the other thing. They don't have an alphabet. They just have words.
Nika, when you went to South Korea, did their language was different?
Yeah, in Korea they speak Korean. Yeah, so
But do
it's
they do the
different.
characters as well?
That's a good question because they do have some influence from Chinese in Korean and Japanese. So like in Japanese they use a lot of Chinese script. And in Korean they tend to use it like in official things like maybe newspaper articles. They like mix the Chinese with the Korean script.
Okay.
Yeah. And they get some of their pronunciation from Chinese. So, like, I've heard somebody say that Chinese is the Latin of East Asia. What Latin is to us,
Okay.
Chinese is to them.
Okay.
Yeah. So, this word is a word for envy, but it has a sense of admire. So, but it's more on the admiration side than the envy side. So, like, if somebody used this word and they said, I envy you, you wouldn't feel badly if somebody told you that in Chinese because you'd be like, oh, they're paying me a compliment. They wish they were me, but they don't want to get rid of me to be me. They just want to, they're just saying that they wish they had what I had, but they really admire me. It's a nice compliment. And the first part of this word, this one here, envy,